The other way up. Oh, right, so I've been doing some careful thought on the new design, because I have found that the majority of the... I'll make sure my audio is working as well. I can't see the audio thing. Must be. Oh yeah, it's working. Sometimes I'll mute myself and I have to make sure. Right, so I have to double check just to make sure that my live stream is working as well, because occasionally I can spend an hour talking to myself. It's frustrating when that happens. Let's make sure that's working. Come on, browser. Firefox is so slow. Right, it says I'm live anyway. So I found that the maximum power is in... This is an X-ray view of the model, and the maximum power is actually between the two fields, as in north and south, with the separator magnet in between. Well, it's not a separator, it amplifies the flux that's going into the core material. So based on that, I came to the conclusion that instead of just one coil wrapped, it's better to have 3 coils, and then I can connect them in series later on. So what I'm doing at the moment is I just cleaned all that horrible paint off my canopy, because it was a bit of a mess. So I used some acetone and cotton wool and wiped it off, and this has got a bit thin now, very thin. You see my finger through it, look. Well, it's just the intersection. It's not an important area, that, really. So what I'm doing at the moment is putting my copper tape on, conductive tape, because the way I need this is connections on these pillars. So one coil, space, another coil, space, another coil. Otherwise it won't intersect with the laminations properly. So I've got these tiny little bits of copper that I've been... I need my tweezers as well. Tiny little pieces of copper which I've got to... which I'm going to solder the wires onto later on, because this is pretty thin wire I'm using. So I've got to go through the process of get it on the right way. I'll put in this copper on these little terminals that I wrap the coil around, and I think this is going to work great. I'm pretty sure it will. I'm very confident. I've been doing a lot of thought about it, because I hate winding coils and then find out they don't frigging work. Because I've got my polarity all messed up before. But this should sort that out, because we have maybe I need to move the camera this way. Yeah, that'll work better, because I'm using the light, you see, and on my own camera. Oh shit, I'm going to knock something over. I don't want to move the droopy cam, because it will start to droop. At the moment it's not drooping, so you're getting a different angle of view. So I'm putting my copper tape on the terminals and where I wind the wire around. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's right. This copper tape's a bit fiddly to get it started. Actually, it's not so bad. You know, when I first got this copper tape, I was struggling for ages to try and pull the backing off the copper, and the backing's a lot thicker than the copper. I couldn't do it. I was struggling for ages, and I realised, no, you pull the copper off the backing. And ever since I figured that out, it's been so much faster. It's a lot quicker if you try to pull the copper off the backing and not the backing off the copper. And you say, what's the difference? Beats me. I just know that when you're trying to get the backing off the copper, it's impossible. You know, because you're picking up the paper and you're trying to get it, and then you realise that the copper, it bends, and you just lift it up. So if I got the copper the other way up, like this, and I'm trying to pick the paper off, like this, you can be picking at it for ages and not get it off. And you turn it around, and you pick the copper, and it comes up straight away. That is one of those strange things in life which just defeat all logic. Now I started thinking to myself, I've been live a lot lately. I've maybe been live too much. Do people really want to watch me live? I don't know. Maybe they only like to watch me live when I'm actually doing a test, but part of the whole process of building something is knowing how to build it. So I thought, well, maybe I should just go live and build whatever. And this makes life a lot easier when I'm putting these little copper tabs on, because it means when I'm winding it, I won't get confused about which peg to put the copper wire around, because I can see straight away. And who needs lines and arrows and things? But I did put an arrow on there. But now with this new configuration, oh, I'm printing out the new magnet assembly right now. It's a 7-hour print. It's a bit over 6 hours, but because it's so big, I don't think it's going to warp. I think we'll be alright there. Right, so there's my 6 terminals, and these 2 in the middle are just the spaces. Don't need them actually, but it's handy having them there in case. Right, I don't need to put them on the back, it's just the top front side where I go solder the wires on, because the way it's going to go is the wire is going to be soldered on there. It's going to go around to these pegs on the back, all the way around, all the way back, around, and keep going around until I get to the end and I solder it onto that one. So, and then the next coil over there, each one's going to be separate coil. So it's going to be coil, 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 and then I can simply wire them in series. However, if I get a pace problem, I can simply reverse the polarity. It's a lot less messing about. If you wind it all in one big coil and you've got one part of the coil wrong way around relative to the phase and it cancels it out, you're buggered. But having 3 separate coils will make life a lot easier. I hope. Yeah. So that's that. I have to wind a coil, but I'm not going to do that right now. I was thinking about what gauge to use actually, but yeah, I'll probably stick with the 36 SWG wire for now, the thin stuff. I was going to take it off the other one, even though that other one's wrong, but I thought no, I'll leave it on, see what happens when I hook it up to the new stator magnet array, and I'll see what it does, because I can easy enough to print another one of these out. Doesn't take too long. I've just got to make sure they don't curl in too much. So what I do is I get this old one which warped the other way, actually warped outwards, and it's handy because I can push it inside like that, and it pushes it out a bit so that it doesn't curl in. I don't want it curling in, otherwise it won't hold in place on the rotor assembly, because I tend to push it in a bit when it goes on the rotor. So I'm just going to leave it in that state with that one pushing the, maybe it wants to be that way around. Let's see, it's just pushing it out a bit. So I cleaned this up with acetone, so I've got to let this dry out a bit because it's going to curl again a little bit. That's very thin there. So I just need to, there's a lump. That'll be alright. That's falling out. I think it's best the other way around. Yeah, keep that pushed out and let it dry. It needs to dry a bit more before I start wrapping a coil on it. Yeah, just a little video update. I don't know. I wanted to get that copper on there so that I won't forget to put it, and sort of know. I've just worked out where the wire goes, and So my print's going at the moment. Oh, phone's upside down now. I hope it's not upside down to you. It shouldn't be. It would be funny if it was upside down on YouTube. I better check actually. No, it's right way upside. It's right way up on YouTube. So, oops, we're printing away. Actually, I don't want to move the camera because it'll start drooping again. I'll leave it where it was. Anyway, it's all point in live streaming 3D printing. Who wants to watch hours and hours of 3D printing? What I used to do when I was learning about 3D printing, it's educational, but it maybe I should do a time lapse. Nah, it's just a waste of time. People get bored. I know I used to get bored watching 3D printing all the time, but so I just to learn about it a bit and see the process and everything, but after a while it gets a bit boring. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get my phone out of here now. Which side do I pull it out of? I don't want to press any buttons. Come out. Just a minute, I'm trying to get my finger under it. I don't want to press any buttons, my mistake. Come out. It's tightened up this thing, as it really has. Okay, I'll be back later. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video, even though it was very short.